Hey, Shiva Rajaya here from vitalcoaching.com with
Selena Quinn.
fantastic. We are recording right now a series on vital sex and vital tantra, and we had a set of practice. If you didn't see the previous videos, just go and check on the vitalcoaching.com channel on YouTube or on my website. And what we are going to do now is just closing the series of activations that we have been doing. Because altogether we have been busy with this for about an hour.
Yeah.
And we have emotions coming up, we have feelings, we have impressions, we have things that we like a lot and maybe things that we like less.
Yeah.
And so it's very important for you and for me to understand, what are the parts or what are the aspects that really touch you and have a space for feedback. So I call that the feedback minute.
Yes.
The feedback minute, and there is a certain structure to it, in the way we share. It's not
structure.
Just yeah.
Really,
I know,
Shiva?
sorry about that. I'm Swiss, we need structure.
Yes.
So, the idea is that instead of entering into a conversation that is endless and we don't know when we start or when we finish, is like just a couple of minutes each.
Yeah.
And so that there is some reflection, you have to take off, you have to meet a friend or something. So it's not like, oh my God, we are going to enter into this in-depth sharing conversation that is going to last for hours. We call that the feedback minute precisely because if we don't do a check-in, I might have some misunderstandings. I might have done something there that I think, oh, that was really good. And in fact, you go like, afterwards, you go, actually, I didn't really like it.
Yeah. And it's like an organic closing of something as well.
Exactly. So it's a way of checking in. So
yeah,
that's it. My question to you is like, give me 5 things that you enjoyed about the practice, about what we did.
Yeah.
All of it,
5 things.
5 things that were good for you.
Okay, so I would say that I enjoyed the tenderness, this tender sharing of getting to know you more in a more intimate, like energetic way. Because because I think often often we don't have enough touch anyway between friends. It's almost like you can't touch a friend. It's not allowed. Of course it is. It's beautiful. So the tenderness, the allowing myself to being completely relaxed in the company of either for me a female or male, but just completely surrendering, because often I can have sometimes some kind of guards and protections up of so completely surrendering to that and trusting. It's beautiful. And I would say also the aspect of looking into your eyes and seeing your soul. This is a beautiful practice. I really, really like this practice. But the breath on top of that, and then the touch on top of that again, it just deepens that each time, it deepens it further for me. So it's a much more soulful connection than the connection with someone or with you, for example, of friends that talk to each other. We share things. I mean, we have already been talking to each other and sharing things with each other in terms of how we feel about things, but it's a little bit of a deepening of that to get to know the other person on a deeper level. So that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I would say also this ability to see in me and you and me and you and you and me, this divine nature. Like I can see this divine person in you, this divine Shiva, and I honor the divine in me also. So it's like this interplay of, it's an honoring of two spirits. And for me, this is the beauty of, whether it's intimacy or whether it's sex or whether it's healing, it's this honoring of another being. So I think it really dispels this whole, what is sex, what is healing, it's all connected, but it's like the honoring of the other.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So here we can also check 5 things that you find maybe challenging, that you touch a boundary, that made you feel uncomfortable. Like, we don't necessarily need to touch the 5 things, okay? Maybe sometimes you have lots of very good feedback and you cannot even think of something that disturbs you. It's not about having to force yourself into that, but it's like, what is there in your field that you think, oh, I can see that this something was triggered in me, or there I would like I feel like we didn't expand in that enough, or feedback that is a little bit more of the challenging feedback. It can also be openly negative. I really didn't like doing that with you, and I will never do it again. For instance, it can be, and we need to be open to receptive for that. So when I'm positioning myself right now, I'm open myself to receive this feedback. I'm not going to speak back, I'm not going to interfere. I receive it. I'm not, speaking back to her. I'm not self-reflecting. I just give you space to speak without interrupting you. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, no, the only bit that made me feel uncomfortable in all of that series was lying in that position, which is a little bit more exposed, which is much more exposed actually. It's more sexual as well. So that automatically I felt a little bit I felt uncomfortable with, but particularly because like we are in public. This is the world here before us.
Hey.
Hello. So it's like yeah, it's like, okay, no, also it's honoring my space, too. So it's kind of, okay, I feel more comfortable this way than that way. And yeah, and maybe that's probably also the male female dynamics there at play, whereby it can lead into something more very easily when it's more sexual orientated this way.
Position. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, about talking about the feedback minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you give me your reflection. Now I take it in. The question that I had for you is, when you were talking about this position that felt a little bit too sexual, was it uncomfortable because of the camera, or would have been all right if the camera was not there?
No, it was a little bit uncomfortable. Um, it was a bit uncomfortable. It was a little bit too sexual orientated.
So with or without the camera? It was not the
No,
presence.
without. Yeah, it wasn't just the presence of camera.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you see, what I'm doing now is that I want really to understand what her boundary is. Because sometimes I might misinterpret. She might tell me, you might have told me, "Oh no, it was the camera. Without the camera, I'm totally comfortable with that." So gaining understanding about what the boundary is exactly in what context. You might say, "Well, I'm not comfortable with that in public, but I'm comfortable with that when we are in a private situation.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with that more in the evening, but not in the morning where I'm about to go to work." Or there all these boundaries, and understanding them very precisely is super important.
Yeah.
So you gave me 5 points, a couple of points that were the challenging, the limits. Now my turn.
Yeah.
So the things that I really enjoyed, the first one is the fact that we went for it. This morning we are here having breakfast, and I said to Selena, what do you think about recording some videos here and showing some tantric sex or vital sex, simple practice in non-threatening. We've been talking about that for a while to see if we were a good match, and we are. So that by itself, for me, it's a big success. I really enjoy the depth of the connection that we build up very fast. When we start adding eye gazing and breath. For me, the breath, the moment we start breathing together, that was really a high point. I noticed also the playfulness in your eyes. Like really, there was something that really touched me, and I felt a deep, profound sense of love. I'm also enjoying a lot your strength and your presence. There is something that gives me lots of security, because you're not, insecure about all sorts of things. It feels like you got your your energy body together, and so it feels very natural and very comfortable to work with that. I like also the fact that you know how to protect your space and give very clear boundaries. So there is no confusion on my end, either. It's like I can see exactly what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do, and that gives us a sense of security. And another point, yeah, on the overall practice, I felt the energy rising really, overall in my body, in my mind. I could feel like there was an activation. I didn't feel that as sexual energy really, but I felt like really a flow of life force that was not there before we started. So that's very powerful. In terms of more challenging feedback, I don't have much either. You know, it has been a very positive experience. I would say that one of the things is that I felt because we have the camera there and we cannot record endless videos on it, we have to rush a little bit in the practice. So it's just 1 minute when in fact it would take longer. And having to set up the camera and find locations and everything, that's also something that interrupts a little bit in the flow. And yeah, I notice also that this is the first time that we practice, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like with more practice, we would, you know, dive into them more easily, being able to tune into it. So I could see that we were beginning and getting used to each other's energy as well. But otherwise, it's for me, it's a massive success. Really beautiful.
Yeah, I
I'm
think so
so grateful for playing with it, and I look forward to record more videos tomorrow. See what comes up. I have no
Yeah.
idea. It's always a
Let's
surprise.
see.
You're awesome. We love you.
We do. We do.